confess that I choose restaurants as much for the food they serve as for the interior design. But the truth is that we're all inspired by commercial spaces. Even though they're large, they tend to turn around really quickly, so they're right on trend. And often that's what gives us the most inspiration when we design a house. So I'm at the very beginning with Marty, and I've come here to have a look at his vision, because we're just about to turn this shed into a really fantastic and unique restaurant. Okay, so tell me what you're doing. What's your plan?
Well, we have got an existing shed, which is this part here,
Yep.
which is what we're sitting in now. So we're sort of sitting up here.
Yeah.
But what I really want to do is build a kitchen up the top. So it will be coming out from here, and then this part of the kitchen will be open, so everyone will be able to see into the kitchen and see us working and have the big bench that we will serve people on.
Okay, so now to the exciting bit. Show me what it's going to look and feel like.
Okay.
I really like that we're starting with pictures of the shed as it is, because essentially this is the soul of the Cook's Co-op.
Yes.
This is what you want to maintain. I love these shelves. So that's what you're going to keep for the bar, is that
Yeah,
right?
so that exists already. And then recycled brick, walls, raised garden beds. That's the style that I'd like.
I love this. I mean, what I like is that it gives a real formality and definition to the zone, and it's very inviting. You can see that path and you just want to walk down there and look at what's in the garden bed. It makes it so accessible when it's brought up to your level. I love that.
Yeah, and also it's easier for us to sort of get into the garden and work it. And
Yeah.
people can sit on the edge of the garden beds and look in or whatever.
So the garden bed becomes part of the entertaining space. I love this feeling that you've got like this really rustic brickwork, and this is a great example of what you're trying to achieve and that it can be done, is then you've got some quite clean finishes with the more modern, the actual prep and the cooking zone.
Because
sits quite well together.
turning the shed into a restaurant, we have to follow guidelines, as I said. So parts of it are going to have to be quite stainless steel, good finishes for number one, cleanliness. It's a challenge.
So your main materials then will be the recycled bricks, the corrugated iron, some recycled timber.
So we've got some old factory windows with that sort of framing that I've found, and they are really old and rusty, but they will be refurbished
Yeah.
with the glass in there, and they'll be put throughout the shed. And then going back to that recycled brickwork, and then the timber floor there, and quite rustic floorboards as well, which I think are quite good.
Yeah, see, I really like this change of tone. Even at this old door that we've got here, I think that is fabulous. And I also like, and this is what you're actually doing, is the way these great old windows frame a view, and the greenery on the outside, and then the rustic finishes that we've got here, they soften the kind of industrial feeling that you've got. And the fact that you've got that beautiful view, it does really connect the two, and that will take a bit of pressure off the internals of bringing in that softness, because you've got it right on your doorstep. Literally, that becomes part of your interior decoration. I love it. I think it's beautiful.
So then coming to bathrooms, again using recycled or old wash tubs. I'd like to use this sort of exterior
Exposed
brass
pipes and
taps.
Yep.
So quite cost effective, but then spending the money on the trough and the actual woodwork that the trough will sit on for hand washing.
I think the trick for the interior design, which I think you've got the elements of here, is multiple finishes and layering them on top of each other, because that gives it a sense of age and authenticity that you want to maintain. And you know, things that are older have got a history, and that history comes out in the layers of texture that are in there. And so layering kind of the bottle green glass and the slightly burnished copper, and then when you have the recycled bricks and the recycled timber, like all of those things add soul, and it's
and
so
depth.
Natural here, and depth. Yeah, I think that is going to be a really great way of merging what will essentially be a new space with an existing space and making it feel quite seamless.
Yeah. And then that's
The
just
exteriors.
exteriors with cladding of old timber.
Here, it becomes a celebration of the history of the place, and you've got so much around here that you can use as part of the decoration, which not only is cost effective, which is great, but I think it keeps the soul in here. It tells the story of what this shed has been as well as what it is now, and I really like that. I love this lighting. That's a really great way of kind of defining a zone, and I love the direction that you're going in. I love the way that you're finding solutions that are cost effective but also maintain the soul of the shed. I can't wait to get started.
Neither can I. I'm chomping at the bit.